Herb, man, it is good to have you on the Books4Guys podcast, man. How are you today?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to the chat, man. It's gonna be fun.
Man, I can't say thank you enough. I know you and I got to meet several weeks ago for the first time, and I've been following you on LinkedIn for quite a while. And I got lucky and blessed that you responded back to me. I know you've got a lot of people that follow you, and I was like, man, if I can talk to her, it would mean a lot. Because again, I've been following you, and I love what you post. I love what you do, and man, I think this is going to be an exciting conversation.
No, I appreciate it, Chris. Yeah, don't get too excited. I'm in t-shirt and sweatpants and like flip-flops. So like this, I'm not that special.
Hey, hey, I dressed for the occasion too. Then I got slides on, I got my t-shirt on, and I'm enjoying it with you. So we'll do this the same way. But Herb, man, I know just from your post and just our conversation, I know you're as humble as they come, and you have a mission of trying to help others. And but I do want to highlight because you know Books for Guys purpose. I want young men to see individuals like you and what you've overcome, what you've accomplished, what you're doing. We highlight reading, but you've written a book that is having an impact. And so just want to say, and you've got your own podcast now too. You've got the your company Liberty Speaks, where you go and speak and you do a lot of different things. You've got your book, The Transition Mission, which I want to talk about. You are also the only person in U.S. Army history to have earned a Green Beret and Drill Sergeant of the Year, which obviously that's a huge accomplishment. And again, I know you don't like to brag, but again, I want to highlight those things just because of, man, it's important. It's important for young guys to see people like you and just, man, tell your story a little bit because your upbringing, how it led you to the military and where you're at now, it's pretty incredible. But man, kind of dive into that a little bit and talk about how you started and where you're at now.
Yeah, let's go to where we started in a trailer park, right? In upstate New York.
Yeah.
And then my dad had lost his factory job and like we got kicked out of the trailer park. So we were doing so well that like we couldn't even be in the trailer park anymore. And to be fair, I wasn't studious at the time, all through high school. Probably since I was a little kid, though, I wanted to join the military. I wanted to join the Army specifically. And I had saw somewhere, probably, I was young too. I don't know, 8, 9 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
Somehow someone stuck me in a library and I saw National Geographic that had a story about Green Berets working by, with, and through indigenous forces. And I was like, that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
So that's my excuse for not being studious. Yeah, I did fail a class in high school and quickly learned like, wow, summer school wasn't fun. So I was like, oh, I actually need to do my work because that really sucked.
Yeah.
But I didn't read much and like probably had a couple influential teachers, though, people in the community. They said it takes a community to raise a child. And one of them was a veteran. I spent a lot of time with Jack and he was like, hey, man, you can do better. And I mean, he was the in-school suspension monitor. So like we spent a lot of time
A lot of
together.
time
And
together.
yeah, when I was like maybe eighth, ninth grade, by like 10th, by definitely my junior year, I'd cleaned it up. And but I knew I was joining the Army. I mean, there's always the patriotic reason, like, yeah, I wanted to serve. I had some relatives that served, but nothing like, I think it was just small town America. You see Veterans Day parades, Memorial Day parades, went to all those events like that and wanted to serve and said I'm joining the Army as soon as I, graduate high school. And I did. And, I was
Yeah.
17, I joined and shipped out. I did wait till the end of summer so I could have a summer of fun. And then I shipped out. But like, it's kind of funny though, like in high school, I didn't read books at all,
Yeah.
barely. But I was thinking as we're going to have this chat, it wasn't because I didn't like reading. It was because I didn't like anything they were making me read.
Yeah. Yep.
So fast forward, my now ex-wife, she was going through college. We were stationed in Hawaii, my first duty station, and she actually got a job at a bookstore. She part-time going through college. So like, hey, now we got a discount for books. And I started reading, like I'm a fast reader. So I started reading like a book or two a week. And a
Wow.
lot of it was about like long range reconnaissance patrols in Vietnam, like stuff, I don't know, stuff that interested me, right? Kind
Yeah.
of stories like that. And so that's really when I started reading a lot, was probably, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
I would, I don't know if I finished a book actually in high school. Shortly thereafter I did, and I love to read and learn. And then, yeah, through the Army, I did that. I was the Army's Drill Sergeant of the Year. And then I said, hey, I got this dream. I still want to earn the Green Beret and be Special Forces and go do that. And went and kind of the last chance I had in my career to go through selection for it and then go through the qualification course to actually earn the beret and be able to do the missions. And then spent the last half of my career there and then retired, March 2019, and said, man, what am I going to do with my life? Because I only had two goals, and fortunately, both were checked off. But now I was like, let me figure something out. So I was like, let me get a elite MBA. So over there on the wall is a little piece of paper from Cornell University, says I got an MBA there. And just was really good, more learning opportunity, more growth, and went into
Yeah.
corporate America. And now we have our company and our podcast.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, and I didn't even mention I kinda wanted you to mention it, but all of that growing up, and now you got an MBA from Cornell, so you can do it, it's awesome, and
Yeah, if you would have told me at 17 or when I was out or any of my teachers, like that dude's gonna go get an MBA from Cornell, one of them might have believed it, and I still in contact with this fella today, but everyone else would have been like zero
no
chance. I
chance.
would have been zero chance. They're more likely to be an astronaut than to go to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like what you say because that's exactly why I created Books for Guys is because just like you said, I was the exact same way. Didn't really enjoy reading, mostly because it was what I was having to read, and nothing that I was having to read was interesting to me. I was interested in sports, so Sports Illustrated magazine was what I read. I didn't really care about any of the English books or history books or anything that I was being told to read. But once I did start reading what I was interested in, man, then the wheels started turning and I got more and more interested and I couldn't get enough books. And that's kind of our mission here is getting young men books that they're actually interested in reading, whether
Yeah.
that be about military or sports or finance or whatever they want to accomplish.
Or just adventure. Like I read
Yeah,
one
adventure,
a
anything.
while back. Like I like to read some fiction books, just get the brain kind of going with some not reality out there. But I love also some funny one. There was like a book about a guy walking the Appalachian Trail, and it was just hilarious, right? So I was like,
Yeah,
let me read this, and it was a good book. I wish I remembered it. It's laying around here somewhere in
yeah.
my office.
I think I remember the first book I read was actually an encyclopedia, but it was about Bigfoot. And I was reading about the Loch Ness monster. And I was like, those were the things I was like, man, if I had like an actual book on these things, I'd be like way
Yeah,
into it. But no, we'll talk about. So it was pretty cool. This is a great conversation because I actually had a former Army officer on too, Clay Novak. And he talks a little bit about I think I'm going to transition this into the transition mission that you wrote because he is actually an author of fiction books. But he was talking about his transition and finding something that he could grasp onto when he left the military because he's like same as you. He's like, I don't know what to do. Uh, I got to find something that's interesting to me so I can accomplish the next phase and goals in life. And that's kind of the issue you're tackling with individuals coming out of the military with your book is how to transition and what that looks like. I guess what led you to finding the passion and the duty to write that book, and what's been your goals with it?
yeah, it definitely was not by design. Like I said, retired early 2019, and I dove into it like it was a mission. It was like I was deploying overseas, but I was deploying in the United States, going to be a civilian, right? And what I'd never been an adult civilian, so it was like, what is this? I had nothing to go to, so I really dove into it and just networked my butt off doing informational interviews, talking with as many people can, researching like
Yeah.
page 67 of Google searches, right, to find information. I after retirement, I had messed up my back, so I'm in the DC area, so went to a spine surgeon. We're talking about surgery. And on the way back, there was this soldier who'd reached out. I said, "Hey, can we have a chat?" At that point in time, I was doing a lot of one-on-one calls. I was like, "Yeah, sure." They like, "Hey, I'm effing lost, and I don't know what to do." And I'm like, on my basically my final leave from the army. They exited the army not on their timeline. They got injured, and some stuff happened. I was like, wow, I need to do more. After talking the whole hour plus ride home, I was like, I need to do more. And I got home at about 6 p.m. on a Friday, went downstairs kind of into my basement with my laptop, sat in a recliner, and until about Sunday night. I just sat there and typed. I got up to go to the bathroom, food, drink, whatever, and a lot of it was because I just lived it. It was like, hey, what is some easily, advice? Just get people started, because I don't know everything and I don't know everything about everyone. But hey, here's some stuff to get people started. Just a little quick thing they can carry around their pocket, 100 and some pages, and really get them jump started in that career transition. Because it's tough. One, finding a new job is obviously tough, and especially if you've never done it before. But there's also, I believe, the military gives you a purpose. It gives
Yeah.
you an identity, and it gives you I say a team because from the special forces community, but it could be a community, an organization. Quite frankly, it's why a lot of young men join gangs, is those same things. The military is a gang with nice uniforms and it's legal,
Yeah.
but that goes away when you leave, right? And you go out the gate. So a lot of people struggle, and the world's your oyster. You could do anything. That's hard, right? Because it's like, well, how do I even picture that? So that's what the book was meant for. And then like I said, about 75% was wrote over a weekend. Then it was like, what do I know about publishing a book? Absolutely nothing. So I had to go figure that out, right? Again, ton of
Yeah.
internet research, talking to people. And I did the self-publishing route just because I could control all the content and it would be quicker. There was some benefits to go, through a traditional publisher, but I didn't have the patience. And I didn't want anyone changing what my words were. So
Yeah.
I got it out there, and then I was like, oh, how do I market this book? And started diving in. So it was really helpful too, just learning business stuff by marketing the book and get it out there. But I keep it as cheap as I can.
Yeah.
It's print as you go through Amazon, and they get a huge cut. But really, to me, I've always told people, just hand out. Someone yesterday, I was at an event and they're like, I had your book, but I don't have it anymore because I handed it to someone else so they could use it for their career. And I was like, good. That's the
Yeah.
point. Because I got a lot of books over there on the shelves and they collect dust, right? I don't usually
Yeah.
go back and reread them. So it's like, hey, uh, pass it on to someone else and keep it going. Now that it's horrible for book sales, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, the whole point is to help people, and that's why I did it.
Yeah. Man, I love that. I love that because community is such a big thing. And when you're around other people doing similar things, I compare it to a lesser scale. I was a college athlete, so
Yep, same,
that was
similar.
my tribe. And then when I graduated and moved to a different city, didn't know anyone, I was like, I mean, I had a job, but it was still very like, man, what do I do? Like, who do I hang out with? Thankfully I found CrossFit. CrossFit built another community for me. But yeah, if you're talking military, especially a lot of guys who, man, they experience things that people like myself will never experience, good and bad, but traveling different places, experiencing different things, just to say like, the world is yours when you get back here. It's kind of hard to go from doing all this to like, all right, well, this isn't as exciting, but I, kind of got to find something. But and you speak on the word I talk about a lot too, the purpose. If you can find purpose and be able to find something that you want to wake up and do every day, and you're, again, have a passion for and whatnot. Man, I love that's your mission to help others, with that, because yeah, you hear all the time, people can't figure it out and it can go down a bad path quickly. But man, I saw one of your LinkedIn posts too the other day about like checking in on people and making sure they're okay, and just being there for someone. And I think that kind of speaks to what you're talking about with the transition mission, is helping people and checking in. But talk about that a little bit, because man, again, you post a lot, and you seem to be an open book to like help anyone who reaches out to you. But how important is that to like check in on your friends and people you've worked with, and especially, coming from where you did within the military? Man, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's not played as cool, right? As the kids say these days, or whatever the cool words are. I don't know. I got all the gray hair. So, like, but,
It's a great
I think,
beard, man. It's a solid beard.
in case there's any confusion, it's not dyed. That is all natural.
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, I think even like going up to as a little kid, right? Like playing sports, wrestling, football, baseball, whatever, like just as a man in America, there's this kind of more macho, especially around sports, and a
Yeah.
lot in the military. And there's not so much, there's talk about brotherhood or, family, but there's not as much like, hey, let's check on each other, and like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
you doing okay? There's a stigma, but then there's like, oh, I don't want to feel weird by like checking in on your buddies, right? It's
Yeah.
it's that simple.
Just called to
Just
say
because
goodnight.
yeah, just hey man, I mean, let's catch up. And it's amazing for me, Corey and I, we just got married earlier this year, and I was like, hey, I'll invite some of my old team guys. We haven't seen each other for the most part. I mean, it had been 7, 8 years, right? And I was like, hey, come to the wedding, you know? And they were all like, boom, we're here. And Corey's like, oh my God, like they all came. And it was just like, we reconnected. And now I'm going down to see one in a couple months and we're spending time. It just, but when life gets busy and we kind of forget, right? Or we're like, we'll put that off till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't wait, right? Because you never know what someone's going through, even if they're putting out a good presence. Just be good and kind of we help each other out, right? I think that's part of being a good citizen in the U.S. I don't think you need to serve wearing a uniform, do anything, but just be good. Take care of your neighbor. Reach out to your pals. Hey, man, it's been like 5 years. We're on the football team together, man. How's it going? Want to get a coffee? Want to get a
Yeah.
beer if you like? Want to just go fishing? Like sit down. Hey, let's just have a chat, man. And sometimes it can be just simple as a text, like thinking of you, buddy, or like with some of my close friends, would be like, hey, I love you, bro, or love you,
Yep.
buddy. And like, that probably wasn't the coolest thing to say 20 something. I don't know if it is now, but it definitely was like, oh, you're not telling another guy you love him. It's like, oh, that's weird. It's like, well, I do, man. We love each other. We've been through a lot and we share some common bonds. And if there was more of that, I think we'd have less problems in the world.
Yep. No, I agree. And again, that's why I've seen some of your posts on that, and it means a lot to me because I've got buddies who we do that, and out of the blue, I'll be stressed or something, and one of my buddies will text me, "Hey man, just thinking of you, love you, bro." And I'm like, "Man, love you too, man. You mean so much to me. I appreciate that." And
Yeah, just something simple as that, Chris, or like a little joke, right? I have a
yeah,
buddy of mine. We send jokes back and forth to each other once a week, probably, right? Or
yeah,
multiple times a week. And it's just, oh man, that's funny. You get a laugh for a second, you smile. A smile can change your day, right? Or just someone
yeah.
reaching out and thinking of you. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and it's never been easier to check in. Like you said, a text message, "Hey, man," it takes a couple seconds, and it means so
Just
much to do that. Yeah, it's awesome, and it does, and it goes a long way. So you mentioned your wife, Corey. You guys, I want you to talk about because you mentioned it when we met. You guys were about to kick off the podcast. You were getting your setup done and everything.
yeah.
But talk about the podcast that you and your wife are doing.
Yeah, we have a podcast. So we have a business, Liberty Speaks. We started a business, and long story short is just, hey, we're going to do something for ourselves instead of working for others. So we started, and part of it is speaker management. We manage a roster of speakers, nearly 30 speakers, a lot of veterans, but not all veterans. We got a lot of men. We also have a lot of women from different backgrounds, from special operations to also some people from academia with PhD. So we manage them, get them out, speaking at places. We do some brand advisory and then we do some social media management for companies. Part of that was like, hey, do a podcast. People have talked to us for a long time. Obviously, like we've talked with a big social media presence, or
Yeah,
I don't think it's big, but I guess in LinkedIn world it's big. And hey, have a podcast. And I was like, man, I think everyone and my dog has a podcast. Like I'm not doing it. And truthfully, we had no reason, right? We didn't
yeah,
have an organization, right? Like you have, and so now we do. So it was like, well, maybe this is a way. Again, we dove in, and Liberty Speaks. It's my dog that got me through a lot of tough times. She passed away earlier this year, so that's this dog here.
yeah,
But Liberty also, that was her name, but also is like liberty, and like, is
yeah,
there anything more freedom and that brings liberty than being able to speak? Right,
yeah,
and that's something I hold sacred, and it's not the same in every other country that you can generally speak your mind. We started a podcast. So yeah, we've had a bunch of great guests. We've had a Special Forces commander who led Special Forces guys in America's response after 9/11. We've had one of our friends who's a special mission guy in the military who went through some mental health struggles and was open about it. We've had a doctor and his wife, a Harvard Business School professor, commander of the USS Cole, which was a warship that was attacked 25 years ago last week. It was the 25th anniversary was last week. This week we have today, actually, as we're recording this, an Army colonel who's leading talent innovation management. We just get talk with a lot of good people and put good out in the world. And that's really our goal, is have a good conversation, let the guests kind of share their story and kind of push it a little bit
yeah.
to have some where we want the story to go. And we're loving it, and we've got a great response so far.
Yeah. Man, I love that. Yeah, because you were telling me when we met before, you were like, it's not really like military focused, there's more purpose and mission behind it with the people you're going to talk with, and just go kind of different routes with it. And I thought that was really cool, is just having different people on there. And you again, you made a point. You're like, hey, this is going to be a little bit different, than what you might think it is. And so it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun doing it
Yeah.
together and having those
It,
conversations.
and I think that what makes this, it's not special, a Liberty Speak show, because Liberty Speaks are kind of not special. It's kind of a play because our guests are special.
Yeah,
But with Corey and I, we come from two different backgrounds, very different perspectives. We're a lot alike, but we're a lot different, right? So you get kind of that different, kind of guides through the talk as we're talking with our guests. And truthfully, we built a studio in our house. So it's very warm and inviting, and our guests open up. I mean, quite
yeah,
frankly, they open up more than they probably would in a lot of other settings. So we get to have some very intimate's like an often overused word, but like it's really intimate. It's really like can be emotional. I mean, like on a couple of them, we've laughed
yeah,
our faces off, and then 10 minutes later, everyone's got tears in their eyes. It's like we kind of go on the what people go through in life, like ups and downs, and talk through, and we're enjoying it, and we're just trying to provide something good out there because I think kind of going back to the mission of having young men read books, there's a lot of evil in the world, and there's a lot of people who are trying to polarize, and they make their living by the doom and gloom, the sensationalism, the division. But like we're trying to bring people together,
yeah,
and like, hey, we could tune in for a half hour, or whatever, and this is going to be it's going to be a good story with a good person and bring people together.
yeah. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, and you're totally right. And I'm the same way. I love like people who I don't know, think of the glass half full and have positive and spread that, because like you said, man, you can doom scroll and see things, and it can take you down so fast. But you can get around people and or listen to a podcast that's got more positive, vibes to it, and just be around people who are smiling. It means a lot. And like you said, I mean, dude, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but it's so cool the platform it gives you to be able to talk with people, post about. I mean, I've made it. I love seeing what you post. I look forward to it. Like when you pop up on LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, I know Herb's got something good on here that I'm probably, I'm gonna pause and read or see what you put on there. And so, but again, it's my choice to follow people like that. I want to see that positivity and people have an impact. And again, that's
I
my mission with
I
Books
think
for Guys.
yeah, if I could real quick, Chris, I think that's thing I hear a lot, like, oh, I'm gonna stop because I've said it myself, right? Like, man, it's all especially like bad stuff. We control our feed, like boom, skip, miss, you know what I mean? Like there's good out there. And if we got to put a little effort into it, it's kind of
Yep.
like dating, right? You can take the first thing that comes by, or you can put a little effort into it.
Yep.
Find a good book in a bookstore. You can grab the first one, or you can put a little effort into it. The effort pays off.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, you can manage what you view and see. It's a little discipline, takes a little effort, but if you can kind of correlate that and kind of tunnel vision yourself into that positive stuff, man, it can roll for you in a good way, and transition away from the negativity that a lot of other people are a part of. No, Herb, I got one more question for you, and I ask people, every guest I ask this to. Don't worry, it's not going to be a tough one. You're talking about reading books that you were interested in, and I always ask people man, when people ask you for a book recommendation, what's one that's had or two that's had an impact on you, either professionally or personally, but one that you really got a lot of value out of and would recommend to others.
I always start with Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor out of concentration camps, and just a tremendous book. And I've made all our teenagers, once they got to an age, because let's be frank, it's talk about surviving the Holocaust and some of that.
Yeah,
So when they were of an age, I'm like, you need to read this. And it's not long, but I think it can change people's perspective on lives,
yeah,
right? A Simple Message to Garcia is a very short read. I don't even know if you want to call it a book, but like one of my leaders had me read it many years ago. And it's very simple, forward message, carry the message to Garcia. But too often we worry about us and not like, hey, just doing what we're supposed to do. So those are like two simple, easy ones. Depending on, anything else, I'm like, hey, check my book out if you're in a career transition, or if, depending on what it is, right? You want a good, learn from history, I can point you somewhere, or if business, point you this way. Or if you're just like, hey, I want to read something that's not true, I could point you some way, but that's Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning is always where I start on, like, hey, this is life stuff. Like, read
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Have you ever read the book The Happiest Man on Earth by Eddie? It's another guy who survived the Holocaust, but it's got
I
some
think so.
moments in there too that are pretty rough, but the ultimate just positive mindset. But the stuff that he
Yeah.
went through, like my stomach was turning. I was like, man, if I don't know how I would be able to experience what he did, but have the mindset that he has. And he's just got a big old smile. But it just reminded me of
Yeah.
that book that maybe a little bit
Similar.
similar.
Similar to Viktor Frankl, and I don't want to, ruin it, but I mean, he survived the Holocaust and basically was like, hey, a lot of people, their mind gave up before their body did, even though they're
Yeah.
going through crazy, harsh, horrible, tragic conditions. Their mind gave up first, and it was basically having a purpose for life. Like, if you have a purpose, you're going to stay living, and that's why we talked about purpose earlier, right?
Yeah.
I think it's critical. You don't have to be in the military or an athlete, but having a purpose, something that keeps you motivated every day, because get out of bed and have fun doing something.
That's right. That's right. Well, Herb, man, again, thank you so much for coming on the Books for Guys podcast, and we're gonna get your book on the website. So if anybody's interested
Yeah.
in purchasing it, there'll be a link to it. Obviously, you're on social media. You've got your Instagram accounts going. I got your LinkedIn all posted and everything. But man, so keep doing what you're doing. Again, I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing, you and your wife, and the podcast as well. And so, man, just can't wait to keep up with you guys and see what all you accomplish, going forward.
No, I appreciate Chris. Appreciate, give me some time on here and support what you're doing. Hey, reading, knowledge is power, right? And you get
That's
that.
right.
One of the ways is by reading. So it may not be as cool today as it was at one point, but I think the people who read are going to put themselves ahead in the future.
That's right.
I'm more than happy to join. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Herb. Thanks for the encouragement, man.